Hello, welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Stevie. This is Stevie Reads. I think when this video is going to come out is going to be the second week of the new year, but today it is currently Christmas Eve, so unfortunately I have to go into work, but I'm hoping to get out around 1 o'clock, and then tonight we got a family dinner. But anyway, all that to say is this week I want to film my best books of 2024 video. I'm hoping I can put it up next Wednesday. That'll be the first day of the new year. So I already have my list of all of my 5 stars, and I just don't want to read anything new this last week, just in case it's a 5 and I have to add on another book into that video. Don't want to risk it. So I am going to be reading a 5-star, but I want to do some rereading this week, and you already know from the title, but I'm rereading the entire Cruel Prince trilogy. I think I read these in 2019. I remember big plot points, but definitely not all of the details of the story. So yeah, I'm very excited. This was when I wasn't annotating, so I want to reread. I'm gonna read them all physically, and I want to annotate them. Last night, I actually started The Cruel Prince, and I got up to page 24. So yeah, I'm already having such a good time. I can't remember my ratings for all of the books, but I do know that I gave this one 5 stars when I read it for the first time, and that was over 5 years ago, so my reading tastes have definitely changed. I don't really read young adult fantasy anymore. I have a whole damn shelf from when I was in this era and I was buying a bunch of books, but half of that shelf I haven't even gotten to yet. I'm curious to see if this is still gonna be a 5 stars for me, but so far I've only read 20 something pages, but I'm already falling back into this world so quickly. So I think this is going to be a spoiler filled video just because I'm reading the whole trilogy. I want to be able to give you my thoughts, and if you've read this trilogy before but you want a little refresher before you go into the duology after this series, that's exactly what I'm doing this for. So hello, we are going to get spoilery. This is just the little graphic novel novella in between the 2 series, and I did read this when it came out and I remember enjoying it, but since then The Stolen Heir and The Prisoner's Throne have both come out. This is following the main character Jude, her little stepbrother. His name is Oak. But I bought these and I want to read them, but I have next to no memory about the original trilogy, so I'm just starting from the beginning, rereading the Cruel Prince series, and then I'll finally be able to read this little duology as well. In the little prologue, I immediately used a blue tab. We are in Jude's head. Jude is a twin. Her twin is named Taryn, I believe. Taryn. Taryn, I don't know, but that's her twin sister, and then they have an older sister, Vivian, and the prologue starts out on a drowsy Sunday afternoon. It's a regular day. Jude is sitting in her living room eating fish sticks and watching TV, bickering with her sisters. It is the normal whatever. But when they're in the living room, we do notice that her older sister, Vivi, she calls Vivian Vivi, but it says Vivi's eyes and the lightly furred points of her ears were to Jude not so much more strange than being the mirror version of another person. So her older sister Vivian has little pointed fairy ears and really bright eyes, and it's not weird to Jude, but obviously that's not a normal human characteristic. And yeah, she was everything was boring, everything was fine, and then a man knocks on the door, and her mom answers the door and immediately tells Jude go upstairs. So Jude grabs her sisters and they go upstairs. She's I'm not gonna go alone, but she goes into the living room and is Mom says we have to go upstairs, there's a scary man here. And they go upstairs, and then we hear the man who she described as not looking like a man, and then we find out that her mom was once married to a fairy. His name is Maddox, and Maddox thought that his wife and only heir were burned down in his estate. They found the remains of a pregnant woman, but Jude's mom escaped back to the human world and had her baby, Vivian, which is technically Maddox's daughter, and got remarried and had Jude and Taryn. So Maddox murders Jude's dad, and then he immediately murders her mom. And then he tells Vivian, pack up your sisters, we are going back to fairyland. And Vivian's I vow that I will hate you forever. And all of this is happening, by the way, they're little kids. I don't know how old they are, but And Maddox takes them all back to his estate in Fairyland because Vivian's his only heir, so he obviously wanted her back. But then because Jude and Taryn are like his wife's offspring in Fairyland, that means he's obligated to like take care of them. So whatever. He's very rich. They go back to live in his palace. And then, so that was the prologue. They were kids, but then chapter 1 literally is the entire chapter. In Fairy, there are no fish sticks, no ketchup, no television. Sad. And then we go into chapter 2. We are introduced to Tatterfell. She's like the imp who has taken care of Jude her entire life, kind of like her mom figure in Fairyland. She works for Maddox, but you know, she braids her hair every night, has given her advice. There's a whole bunch of things in Fairy that can hurt you. And it says, "It was Tatterfell who smeared stinging fairy ointment over my eyes to give me true sight, so that I could see through most glamours, who brushed the mud from my boots, and who strung dried rowan berries for me to wear around my neck, so I might resist enchantments." So Tatterfell has taken care of her. And then we also learn that fairies can't lie. So it's very easy for Jude and Taryn to live in this world and get away with a bunch of white lies because fairies don't assume that people are lying because they can't. Oh, she must have been about like 6 when Maddox showed up, because it says, "I have been in Fairy for 10 years. None of it seems all that strange anymore. Here I am the strange one with my blunt fingers, round ears, and mayfly life." And then we learn a little bit about how it's been living in Fairy, and she's talking about her new like relationship with Maddox, and she says that like Vivian has never forgiven him. She vowed that she will always hate him, and she has stuck to that vow. But she was like, "Many nights I drifted off to sleep to his rumbling voice, reading from a book of battle strategy, and despite myself, despite what he'd done and what he was, I came to love him. I do love him. It's just not a comfortable kind of love." So obviously Maddox murdered her dad and her mom and kidnapped her and her sisters and brought them to a foreign fairy land. But she was abducted when she was a kid. Maddox is taking care of her, and she's like, "I didn't want to like him, but I do. It's just not a comfortable kind of relationship and existence, you know." And then her and Taryn are just getting ready to go to a ball. We learn that fairies are twilight creatures, so they're nocturnal, and they go to this party at midnight, but that's actually pretty early in the afternoon to be going to this. And then we are introduced to Cardan. We learn about all of the prince and princesses, but when we get to him, it says, "Prince Cardan, 6th born to the High King Elred, yet still the absolute worst." She hates him right off the bat, and I love it. And we just see a little bit of his cruelty. Cardan is the absolute worst. She was right about that. He's just a dick. And she's like, "I'm grateful that Cardan has 5 more worthy brothers and sisters. It's practically guaranteed that he'll never sit on the throne." Foreshadowing, but also foreshadowing because the second book is called The Wicked King. So like, but anyway, that's what I got up to. I'm on chapter 4 now. I was having a great time reading it last night. But yeah, I feel fully reintroduced into this world and these characters. Nothing is coming back as far as like the plot. Like I really can't remember what happens in this first book. I didn't even read the synopsis or anything. I just went right into it. So also love this little gold foiling. So gorgeous on the naked hardcover. But yeah, I hope that I can read more of this today. It is Christmas Eve, so going into work, hopefully I can leave super early. And then tonight we have a Christmas dinner at 4 o'clock. My husband is also at work today. He gets off probably at 3. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have reading time today. Maybe if I get home early enough and I have time before dinner. But then tomorrow is Christmas Day. We're also super busy, but I do have a long weekend. I took off Thursday and Friday, so when I leave work today, I don't have to go back until next Monday. I'm super ecstatic. And today is a little bit of a Christmas gift to me. All of my Amazon packages that I have bought myself over the last like month are all coming today. So tomorrow is Christmas for everybody and I will get to open up my gifts that are under the tree from like my husband and everything. But today is Christmas to myself because on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, I can't remember which day, it was a month ago now, I ordered myself a new MacBook. This one is ancient. I can't edit on it for my videos. I bought it used over 10 years ago, so I don't know what generation it is. It can't do updates anymore. The only thing I really use it for is YouTube, just like watching videos, not uploading. I upload everything on my phone. A cat just jumped into my backyard. Oh, funny. Anyway, but yeah, this girl is ancient. I can't do shit on this laptop. And as a Christmas gift to myself, now I can say it was a Christmas gift, I saw there was a deal on brand new 2024 MacBook Pros. It really is going to be so fancy. I'm going to feel like a whole new bitch. So yeah, my MacBook is getting delivered today. I'm beyond happy. The shipping said December 24th to January 11th. And yesterday I got a notification that it was finally shipped, because for a month I've just been checking and nothing has happened. But yesterday it said that it shipped, and then it said arriving by January 11th. And I was like, damn it, like I just want it now. And then I got notified this morning that it is being delivered today. Ah, so excited. Also, 3 books that I bought myself like a couple weeks ago are coming today, and my new heating pad. My old heating pad literally almost caused a fire. It was so dramatic. I plugged it in like a week ago and it sparked and tripped the breaker that it was plugged into. And like, thankfully I was there because I turned it on. And so I just had to toss it and order a new one. But yeah, my heating pad, 3 books, and my brand new laptop is coming today. So hopefully that is delivered early enough that I can come home from work and like unbox my laptop. I already have the case for it. Like, I ordered the laptop and the case at the same time. So I've just had this sitting down there for weeks waiting to go on my new laptop. But yeah, it really is the season of consumerism, but I genuinely need a new laptop so bad. Yesterday when I was editing that video, the iMovie app on my phone was lagging so much. I think it genuinely took me twice as long as it needed to, because every time I did like a snippet, it would take like 5 seconds to recalibrate. It was so frustrating. So that means this video is going to be edited on it. Ugh, it's gonna be so nice. But yeah, I do need to get going into work, sadly, and hopefully I can read a little bit today. I might be able to read a little bit tomorrow, but we have to go to 2 houses. And this weekend, I'm babysitting my sister's dog, so you'll have a little bit of dog content in here too. I'll introduce you to Jameson when I have her, and hopefully I can get some reading on this done today too. We'll see. Hi, I am back home from work. It is barely noon. I just got home, and literally 10 minutes before I got home, both of my packages were delivered. So I'm going to open up these bad boys. I think the Mac is in this one because it's bigger. Gotta be that one. But just a quick little haul. I seriously have not been able to stop thinking about it all day. I can't wait. Luxury heating pad. So happy to have a heating pad again. This one just looks nicer than my last one too. My last one was like bright blue, and I didn't love it like in the living room with my red couches and everything. But this one I feel like is just gonna be more aesthetic to like have sitting out. Oh, and it's huge. I got the extra large one. This whole thing is gonna be able to cover my back. Oh, love that. So soft. Anyway, very happy to have one of these again. And then the books in here. So I got Passenger Princess by Morgan Elizabeth. I think I saw one person on Instagram talk about this, and I love a princess and bodyguard trope. I've only read it one time, but it was Twisted Games by Anna Huang, and that was my favorite book in the Twisted series. I just love like the forbiddenness of a princess and a bodyguard. So that's what this trope is. Oh, she's not a princess. She's a beauty pageant contestant, and she is newly crowned Miss Americana. Okay, so kind of a princess in America because we don't have princesses. You know, the girl on Instagram really sold this to me, and it made me think of Twisted Games. So book number 1. And then speaking of Anna Huang, I got her newest book, The Striker. What are you doing?
I needed scissors.
Okay. Creeping on me.
No. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, my new heating pad.
New heating pad. Did you open up and see your laptop yet?
No.
I want to see it.
No, it's happening.
Okay. Sorry.
You're okay.
Go back out into the dungeon.
You're okay. You're okay. I just can't vlog in front of you. It's too awkward. Anyway, yeah, I got her newest novel. This is about a footballer, so a soccer player, and the trope is he falls for his rival's sister. Very interesting. This was chunkier than I thought it was going to be. Oh my god, it's almost 600 pages. Why are romance books just getting longer and longer nowadays? Whatever, it's fine. I love Anna Huang. Okay, this is what we're all here for. I cannot wait. And there is one book in this package as well. Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas. I haven't heard a lot about this book from any reviewers. I just like Penelope Douglas, and this is like her newest book. But the fact that it's titled Five Brothers, I feel like our girly is gonna be choosing between five brothers. Sounds very dramatic, very Penelope Douglas. So this will probably be a quick fun time, even though it is super chunky as well. 540 pages. Five Brothers, over 500 pages, whatever. And then, oh. She's beautiful. She's beautiful already. The amount of boxes around me right now. So I pull this to open it up. Oh my god. She is stunning. Here. Okay. We're really up in my business here. But, oh, this is stunning. It's kind of freezing because it was on my porch for a minute. But, wow. And the little charger block. Cool. Oh my god. I'm so excited. This is beautiful. Oh my god. Okay, well, I am gonna have to set it all up. I gotta get signed into the Wi-Fi, do the whole thing. I was planning on coming home and reading a little bit of The Cruel Prince, but that's definitely not happening. I'm going to set up my new laptop. I'm beyond excited. Merry Christmas to me from me on this beautiful Christmas Eve. I got all my Christmas presents early, so I didn't just buy presents for myself. Just kind of had to push it down a little bit, but that is the right way. And it's so beautiful. I got it off Casetify so it could have these little bumpers in case I ever drop it. I'm gonna be so careful with this though. Oh my god. Okay, final update because I know I'm just being annoying at this point, but I put this wedding picture on here and it is so beautiful. Oh my god. I'm having the best day of my life. Hi, Bubba. Merry Christmas! It is still Christmas Eve. It's about 8:30 and we just saw all of my family. It was crazy, but we just got home and this is my baby until Sunday, little Miss Jameson, or Jamie for short. But we got home, she had her dinner, and now she is just relaxing, hanging out. But yeah, I read a couple more chapters of my book before the party, but I was mostly just obsessed with my new laptop. So I'm gonna read a little bit more tonight on the couch, but yeah, it was a good night. We kind of separate the holidays by like the days. So Christmas Eve is all of my family, and then tomorrow we're gonna go see all of Jordan's family. So it'll be a busy couple of days, but I'm just hanging with my girl. We're gonna try to get some reading in. She looks suspicious.
She's being big baby right now. And I'm watching Molly May. Okay, this is so meta because this was the beginning of the video that you're currently watching. But it is Christmas morning right now. We did presents. I'll show you. Now there's like nothing under the tree, but I'll show you what I got. Jameson is being a princess. I made her a little bed of blankets in this other seat and she's just hanging out. But I kind of had to teach myself how to re-edit. On the phone, iMovie is a lot different than on a computer, but it is so much easier on the computer. Like already, I had to look up one YouTube video on how to edit on iMovie on a MacBook, and I feel like I'm already a pro. I'm having such a good time. This is really going to save my life with editing. I'm so happy I got this. But these are all the gifts I got for my husband. This was from his grandma. She gives us each a $50 to open on Christmas. But I got all of these Elsie Silver books. The second book in the Rose Hill series. I already have the first one, haven't read it yet. And then the 3 books in the Gold Rush Ranch series. The third one hasn't shipped yet, which is kind of sad. He ordered them all at the same time, but for some reason that one just hasn't shipped, so that's totally fine. I haven't read the first 2 yet, so, but I got 3 out of the 4 books in the Gold Rush Ranch series. And then he got me this Mona Lisa Lego set, which I'm so excited. I have been in my Lego era, but I love when you can hang them up afterwards, so this is gonna be so fun. I don't think I'm gonna have time this weekend because we are so busy. We're actually painting our bedroom. And then I wanted a little dainty watch, and he got me 2. So this one has little green gems, so beautiful. I love the silver. My wedding band is silver, so I like silver rings and bracelets. And then this one has little pearls in it. Oh, I'm so dead. They're both gorgeous. And yeah, I just said that I wanted a kind of skinny silver pretty watch, and now I got 2 of them. They're both too big on me, but they came with a little screw that I can like take off one of these guys. So I just fought for my life. Okay, I haven't set the time for it because I don't really care all that much. Like, I don't think I'm gonna set the time, but oh, I am so obsessed with it. It's still a little bit loose, but without those 2 links it fits a lot better. And yeah, I just love it so much. And also, Jameson has not moved all morning. She's kind of the easiest dog in the world to watch. Like, if you just put a blanket on a couch, she's just gonna sit there all day. She's gonna sit there. And then when I'm sitting here, she'll just cry at me and come sit on my lap. Yeah, we just want to hang out. I forgot to do our stockings. We just remembered, but he put some face masks and these cute little pens. I'm probably going to use them for annotating in my book. But yeah, I need to scan all of these into my Goodreads. And then I preemptively like moved around some stuff so that I could make room for more Elsie Silver. I got more romance and I had to like move stuff around anyway. So I was like, I'm going to keep a chunk here. I don't know if they're going to fit. And obviously I'm still missing the 3rd book. But I got all my Anna Huang in one stack except for her newest book. But all of these fit perfect. I was like, hell yeah. Okay, Anna Huang and her new book, and then I can put this back. But I need to scan all those books in and see if they fit on this shelf. I think that when I have the 3rd book, it's gonna fit perfect. I just put them in publication order. Okay, doing the morning routine, watching the new Whitney video. Also, it snowed last night. Crazy. Christmas miracle, it finally snowed. But Jameson is loving my little reading chair. She is living in here. She was sleeping until I just said her name. Her little teeth. You can see the tiniest little teeth. But she was so good. She didn't wake me up at all last night. Love to see it. My eyes are still like crusty. I just woke up, but I didn't read at all yesterday. Christmas was super busy. So today's the 26th. I'm gonna read as much as I can this morning, maybe edit. I normally wouldn't be editing this early, but it's just because I have this new laptop that I like want to be on it, and editing on the iMac is so much more fun than on the phone. But anyway, I do think I'm gonna take a little break from editing today and actually get some reading done because it's been a second since I picked up my book. So I know I look like this, just woke up, but I'm going to finish watching my Whitney video, go make a coffee, and then sit on the couch. Jameson will probably join me when I move down there and read some more of The Cruel Prince. And then tonight I'm going on a date with my husband. I don't know where we're going. I know it's dinner and then something after. And he said the something after is Christmas themed. So I have a couple of green dresses that are both short, and it just snowed, but I have like tights and stuff, so I'm gonna have to get like fully ready later. I need to shower, hair, makeup, do the whole thing. I love surprises, so we'll see where he takes me. Okay, same day. I'm just looking a little bit less busted. I took a shower, just finished getting dressed and ready. I only read 1 chapter of The Cruel Prince this morning before I realized that I'm not going to get like ready again probably the rest of this weekend. It is Boxing Day,
the day after Christmas, and I took off, you know, Thursday, Friday. So today, the only plan was date night, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're actually repainting our bedroom. So I'm gonna be covered in paint, looking, you know, grimy, but I'll be able to probably have some reading time. I also have a birthday party Saturday for my nephew, but doesn't matter anyway. And I was thinking about it, like this weekend I need to film my best books of 2024 video so it can go up next Wednesday on the first day of the year. I just want to put out, you know, best books of the year. And so I got ready a little bit earlier today, didn't let myself relax too much on the couch, and I just barely got all of the books together. That video is already gonna come out by the time this one does, so doesn't matter, you can see them. But I got all the books together, and yeah, I'm gonna film that really quick. It's just all to say that I read one more chapter. I think I'm on page 66, so not that much further. Jordan is so loud. You're probably gonna hear him in my 2024 video, but he was just at his grandma's all morning helping her fix her garbage disposal because her kitchen flooded the other day. So he was doing that all morning while I was getting ready, and then he just got home and is playing video games. Yeah, not gonna bug him about it. But in the chapter that I read today, we just learned that the older sister, Vivi, has enough power to go back to the human world, and she's been going back there pretty frequently, and she met a girl, and now she's got a girlfriend, and her girlfriend asked her to move in, and she wants to like leave fairyland to go back to the human world, but obviously Matic wouldn't allow that. But there was a stunning quote. Ugh, I guess I'll go grab the book. Okay, one second. I love how I'm like blaming you, like you made me do this update right now. But I put a tab there. And so Jude is in the human world, and she's just kind of like looking at the people around her, feeling very out of place. But she said, Vivi loves this place. She loves to drink mango smoothies, try on hats, and buy whatever we want with acorns she enchants to pass as money. Taryn doesn't love it the way Vivi does, but she has fun. When I am here though, I feel like a ghost. So it's kind of sad, like she feels super out of place in fairy because she's a human amongst a bunch of fairies, but that's where she grew up, you know? Like Vivi is so nostalgic for the human world because she had her whole childhood there. We figured out that Vivi was 9 when Matic murdered their entire family. It's like Vivi thinks we're stupid for not being able to resist the intensity of fairy, for desiring to stay in a place of such danger. Maybe growing up the way we have, bad things feel good to us. So Vivi is just really mourning the human world. The twins don't super care about it. They're trying to like adjust to life in fairy. And we met Vivi's girlfriend who has no idea that she's a fairy. Like she thinks that Vivi's just like a normal girl. Yeah, anyway, I had a really good time reading this. I wish that I had like more time to just sit on the couch, but now that I am fully ready, depending on how long it takes me to film this video, oh, it's a little bit after 1 o'clock. So I'll still have some hours to read, and then maybe I'll show you my outfit later, whatever I decide. Okay, I still have like 20 minutes before I need to leave the house, but I just got dressed and figured I would show you the fit. I'm trying to be warm while also being Christmassy. So I put on this green dress with a black cardigan. I'm also going to be wearing a big winter coat that is going to be ruining the outfit when I'm outside, but that's fine. I've got these little tights on that have cute like crisscross pattern. And then I thrifted these like velvet maroon heels, I think a month ago when me and my sister went thrifting. So this is the first time I'm wearing them. But I got the green and the red. But I read a little bit more of the Cruel Prince as well before I got dressed and everything. And I am finally over page 100. Taking me longer to read than I thought, but I have just been the busiest girl. But I'll update you more later. I just want to do some touch-ups, keep getting ready. But yeah, I'm so excited to go out tonight. I'll film a little bit if I can and show you where we end up going. Okay, it is Friday today, and this is the state of the bedroom. It's not even 10 a.m. We just woke up and covered bed in plastic, took out the end tables, taped up the window, did all of that. But yeah, the blue wall is going to stay blue. It's still really nice, other than that tiny little chip right there, lol. I think that's normally covered by his end table though. We got our little Bertha tapestry, but we filled all of the holes and everything the other day. But yeah, the people before us, it just is kind of gross looking. So we're doing a very similar color, but it's just going to be fresh paint. The first coat is all done. It only took us like an hour and a half. but we are going to take a break, go grocery shopping, and then do the second coat, probably like 3 or 4 hours, like really give this just some time to dry. I'm going to turn on the fan actually. And yeah, halfway there. It is a little bit dark in here, but we got back from shopping and did the second coat. And it is looking beautiful. I'm so stoked. So the fan, I think there was like one of those boob lights before, and then the people who owned the house before us put in this fan, which is amazing. But yeah, there's always been like that yellow circle that I've hated since we moved in almost 3 years ago. So tomorrow we're going to tape off the ceiling and do the ceiling just, you know, the same kind of crisp white. But I'm so excited for that yellow ring to go away. I'm gonna turn the fan back on, let the walls dry. But yeah, I need to change out of my painting clothes and I get to relax now. I don't even know what time it is. Let's see. Oh, it's like 3 o'clock. Okay, cool. So painting is done, grocery shopping is done. I mean, it's freaking 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I finally get to chill. And I also did get my nephew's birthday present when we were at Costco. He's turning 3 and he's obsessed with Coco Melon, so hopefully he loves this. And I got him a big shark bag. Hopefully this will fit. Oh yes, perfect. Okay, but yeah, so productive today. Walls are done, grocery shopping is done, and then tomorrow we're gonna do the ceiling, and then 3 o'clock is his birthday party. And then I told my husband I'm not leaving the house on Sunday. Sunday is gonna be the only day that's like actually a weekend day, or you know, I'm having a 5-day weekend, but a day that feels like relaxing. I'm so happy with the amount that we got done. But yeah, I have like my end table, his end table, the blinds from the window are on the floor. Like, this room is a mess and it's gonna stay a mess until Sunday. But tomorrow we'll be able to take off the tape from like the doors and the baseboards and everything and tape the ceiling. And then Sunday we'll be able to take the tape off of everything and start putting things back on the walls again, like all the little hanging shelves. I can put my books back on those shelves. We'll hang up all the pictures again. But yeah, I'm just so happy that we did this on our long weekend. Obviously, I would have loved to relax and just read and do nothing, but feels very good to finally get this done. We're going into the new year with some fresh, beautiful walls. But yeah, I'm gonna change out of my painting clothes, probably into some sweats, and I'm gonna hang out for a minute. Oh, and I didn't update about our date last night. We ended up going to a play, A Christmas Carol, which I've never even seen the movie or read the book, so I knew that there was like, you know, ghosts of Christmas past and everything, but I didn't know like the story. So it was so cool to like experience it live for the first time. All of the actors did amazing, and it was kind of a 2-in-1 date as well, because when my husband went to his grandma's yesterday to help her with her garbage disposal, his grandma lives with his cousin. His cousin was there asking about the date night and everything, and she said she has like season tickets to the theater that we went to, and she can like get tickets for shows, and she said that she could get us 2 tickets to Little Women. And my husband is not interested at all in seeing the play for Little Women, but me and my mom are gonna go on like a little mom-daughter date night, which is so fun. I looked at the like available shows, and a week before her birthday there was a show, so I want to take her out to lunch or just a really early dinner because the play is going to be at 4, and then we get to see Little Women live. So cool. I absolutely love the movie with Florence Pugh and Timothée Chalamet. I haven't read the book. I own it, but I'm a little bit less excited about it now after Whitney's Vlogmas, so we'll see when I get to that book. But February 1st, me and my mom are gonna go see the play, which is so cool. I had so much fun at A Christmas Carol, and to see a story that I already know will be pretty cool too. But yeah, anyway, done painting, done shopping. I finally get to sit on my couch and do nothing. I'd love to read more of my book, but I'm just so like tired that I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a break and then probably get to editing and reading a little bit later. But yeah, gonna go on the couch, cuddle with Jameson. She's been feeling neglected because we've been painting and shopping all day. I'll talk to you when I have an actual reading update, hopefully, instead of just a painting update. Saturday morning, I am covered in paint, but the first coat of the ceiling is done. The second coat is going to be so quick because since it was white before, like it mostly looks good. There's just a couple of places, but the yellow ring around the fan is gone, thank God. And yeah, oh, I can even see on camera right there. Yeah, just a couple of places. Even there, this was the hardest part, honestly. But yeah, gonna let it dry for a couple of hours. And then it's only like 11 o'clock right now, so we'll probably do the second coat around 1 maybe. And then hopefully that only takes like 45 minutes max. And then I need to hop in the shower before the birthday party later. But I do have a couple of hours of hanging out and I am covered in paint, but it's dry, so I'm gonna go down on the couch and try to read for a couple of hours. I think A Cruel Prince sounds like a fun time right now. I came down to read, but how can I get any reading done when she is just being the biggest baby in the world? As soon as I sat down, she ran up to me. She feels so neglected when I paint all morning.
Grayson, those are cool shoes, dude.
Happy birthday, dear Grace. We just got back from the party and it is super dark, but this is what we are leaving off on today. Ceiling is done. We're gonna pull off the tape from the top tomorrow. I don't want to like show outside, but he's gonna put up the blinds and the curtain rod tonight so that we're not woken up by the sun again tomorrow. And then tomorrow we'll put up all the shelves, all the pictures, and it'll be done. Drop cloths are gone. We put the end tables back and put everything back on the walls. It looks so much better. This was disgusting before. The walls just look fresh and clean. The worst part of like the bleeding on the wall was the tape over here bled pretty bad. So I don't know. We're not professionals. And the walls themselves definitely look better than they did before. We just don't have that color blue. We didn't put that on there, so we don't know what it is. But yeah, that little corner is what turned out, I think, the worst. But other than that, everything looks so much nicer now. Ugh. And yeah, I just vacuumed, got everything off of the floor, all the dust and everything. And also there is no more gross yellow ring around the fan. Having such a good morning. I mean, it's like 1:30 right now. I just threw some chicken in the crock pot for dinner. So dinner is handled. The room is put back together. Very sad that it's the last day of my weekend, but so incredibly happy with everything that we got done. Sadly, with how busy I've been, I haven't done a whole lot of reading. I've made it up to page 180. Halfway through a chapter. Just is what it is right now. Yeah, halfway through chapter 17. So honestly, since I last talked to you, not a whole lot has happened other than Jude joined the Court of Shadows, which is Cardan's older brother, Prince Dane. He's the prince who everybody thinks is going to be next in line for the throne. And Prince Dane approached Jude with an offer to be a spy for her. Because she is a human, she can go where fairies can't go. Just by like pretending to be a servant, she can go into other people's castles and nobody really pays any attention to the human servants. And then obviously as a human, she has the ability to lie, which comes in handy when you're a spy. So she was introduced to his other spies. They all have code names, so they're called Roach, the Bomb, and Ghost, and all three of them have been helping Jude in different ways. Like Ghost is showing her how to be stealthy, the Bomb is showing her like how to fight, and yeah, like she's making new spy friends, I guess. Not really friends, more like colleagues. And also a little bit of a relationship has developed with Cardan's friend Locke. And my memory of this series is so terrible because I can't remember why I hate Locke. I just know that I'm supposed to hate him. Maybe he is pursuing her twin sister as well. That's my hunch, is I think that he's also courting Taran, but maybe that's not right. I just know that Locke is a shitty character. I just can't remember what he does. But yeah, anyway, there has been very minimal interaction with Jude and Cardan. I mean, we're only halfway through the first book, so that makes sense. But when she was spying, she did spy on Cardan a little bit, and she saw him get whipped by a human servant because one of his other older brothers, the one that he lives with, was punishing him. So she saw that and was like, you know, maybe it makes sense why he's such an asshole if his home life is this bad. But when she saw Cardan getting beaten, I did highlight a little bit of it. You know, she was like, I should be glorying in seeing Cardan like this. I should be glad to see that his life sucks. She's like, but watching, I cannot help observing that beneath his defiance is fear. I know what it is to say the clever thing because you don't want anyone to know how scared you are. It doesn't make me like him any better, but for the first time, he seems real. Not good, but real. So she's kind of seeing a little bit more of a human side to Cardan, even though he is a arrogant fairy. And yeah, she has been working on her spying, she has been training, she's been lying to everybody in her life because obviously she's a spy, so she can't let anybody know about it. And she has started a little bit of a romantic relationship with Locke, but I don't trust that man. So yeah, I think finally tonight I'm gonna have time to sit and read this. Now the room is put back together. Very, very happy about that. And now I'm just gonna try to read as much as I can. Hello, next day. It's Monday morning, super sad about it. It's like 8 a.m. and I was gonna film in front of the window, but it is too dark. So we're sitting in front of the vanity today, but yeah. So sad that my weekend is over. It was so fun. I definitely didn't get as much reading done as I hoped, but last night I got up to page, I don't even know, 248, and that is the very beginning of book 2. So a whole bunch of drama happened last night, and I told you that Jude joined the Court of Shadows, which is like Prince Dane's group of spies. So she's learning how to be sneaky, and she's starting to spy on people in her life, and then she's also being taught from Ghost and also from Matic how to fight, and you know, she's becoming better with a sword and a dagger and all of that good stuff. But one of Cardan's friends, Valerian, he was kind of the worst of the bullies to Jude, and he took it too far one day, and when she became a spy for Prince Dane, he put a glamour on her that she can't be influenced by other fairies anymore, even if she's not wearing the necklace of berries. They can't, I don't know what it's called in this world, but in the Vampire Diaries, it's when you compel somebody, like that's what the fairies can do to humans. So she can't be compelled by anybody anymore, other than Prince Dane. He made that exception that like, no fairy can do this except for me, obviously. So Cardan's friend Valerian tries to glamour her. You know, he rips off her necklace of berries when they're alone, like in a tower, because he cornered her up there. Anyway, sorry, I just keep like going back because I feel like you need more context. But he rips the necklace from her and tells her to jump from the tower, and she's like, actually, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And he's like, no, you are. And then he tries to attack her and she stabs him like in the ribs. And so she stabs him in the ribs, whatever. He gets mad because he got bested by a human, but she runs away immediately and like gets away. And then a couple of days later, he shows up to her room and tries to attack her again, but he comes armed that time, and she still gets the best of him and she stabs him in the heart. So she murders Valerian, and she wants to tell the Court of Shadows so that they can help her, but she doesn't fully trust Prince Dane, because when he found out that she stabbed Valerian, he confronted her and was like, your job is to be on the down low. You know, don't show anybody what power you have. Don't show them that you can't be glamored. Don't show them that you know how to wield a sword. Like, he got mad at her when she was protecting herself. She was like, what am I supposed to do? Jump from the tower? And he made her stab herself in the hand. So she doesn't want to tell the Court of Shadows because she doesn't want Prince Dane to know. So she shoves Valerian's body under her bed. Funny. And then her and Roach, it was either Roach or Ghost, I can't remember, but one of the other members of Court of Shadows go on a mission to stop one of Prince Baelkin. That's the two main like older brothers who are fighting for the throne. Prince Dane, who Jude is working with, and then Prince Baelkin, that's the one that Cardan lives with, who beat him. Like, we do not like Baelkin. He seems very murdery and scary. Prince Dane is scary, but I think he's the better of the two options, and so does Jude. And so they go to spy on one of Prince Baelkin's spies, and Jude kills her second person because she kills the spy from a distance, kind of sniper style. And yeah, so Jude killed 2 people. And then the coronation is going to happen because the dad of all of these little princes is giving up the throne finally. I don't know how many years he ruled, but fairies live forever. So he has ruled for a very long time, and he is planning on giving his crown to Prince Dane. Jude is super happy about that because you know, she's his secret spy, so she'll have a lot of power if he becomes the king. But there's a like fairy curse on the crown that the person who kills the person wearing the crown also dies. So Prince Balkan in this last chapter was like the coronation and shit really hit the fan. But Prince Balkan found a loophole in that curse, and during the coronation, the king takes off the crown and, you know, like knights his son. And while the crown isn't on anybody's head, Prince Balkan stages a coup, and Jude's stepdaddy, I don't know what you would call him because he's not a stepdaddy, but he sided with Prince Balkan and actually murdered Prince Dane while he didn't have the crown yet. And now Prince Balkan is trying to get the crown, but just because Maddox killed Dane doesn't mean that it automatically goes to Balkan. Like, he needs to be crowned by his dad. So he tells his dad, like, either crown me or I'm gonna kill your mistress, like whatever, the woman. And the king is like, you will never rule, like I'm not gonna do that. So he murders the king's consort, then he murders the king, then he murders one of his sisters. Everybody is dying, and he is like looking for Prince Carden because basically just somebody from the family has to crown him king, and nobody is doing it. So yeah, where we ended off, he's looking for Carden because he wants Carden to crown him king. And all of the other like courts of this kingdom, like their lords are there, and none of the lords are like taking Balkan seriously. He puts the crown on his own head and he's like, all of you will serve me, and they're supposed to say it back like, we serve the crown or whatever, but nobody says anything. And the crown actually scorches his head when he puts it on. And so one of the lords is like, we do not swear to the king but to the crown. You have 3 days to get it into your head, kinslayer. 3 days before I will depart here, unsworn, unchecked in power, and unimpressed. And I am certain not to be the only one. So none of the other lords are taking Balkan seriously, and he's kind of throwing a little bit of a temper tantrum because none of his brothers and sisters are crowning him king, even though he just did a whole coup and killed his brother. But it says, they have watched nearly all the royal family be slaughtered in a single night. I wonder how much more violence will spring up if there is no new monarch to caution them. I wonder who would welcome it. So Jude's whole world got flipped upside down. You know, she was going to be the king's spy, and now her dad was a part of the coup. Her sister is nowhere to be found. Also, Locke has not officially said that he's courting Taran, but I am 98% sure that's what the hell is going on, because Locke already admitted earlier in the story that he just loves drama. And while everything at the party was like chill, he was dancing with Jude. He kept asking like really weird questions. He was like, could you tell me you love me? What would you do for me? Would you forswear a promise for me? Do you love me enough to give me up? Isn't that a test of love? Do you love me enough to weep over me? And then, so Jude's just like, why are you asking all these weird questions? And she was like, you mean if you were hurt, like would I weep for you? And he was like, I mean, if I hurt you. And she was like, my skin prickles. I don't like this, but I at least know what to say. If you hurt me, I wouldn't cry. I would hurt you back. And he was like, no, I'm sure you'd. And then, you know, Carden interrupts them, and then, you know, her and Carden dance or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Locke is going to be a shitty character and say that he is courting her sister. And her sister is so dumb and ditzy. Like, no offense to Taran, but her plan of how to stay safe in Fairy is to get courted by somebody and then get married and live with them and, you know, be protected because of their power. And Jude, that's not her plan. Jude wants her own power. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Locke is just playing the both of them, although Taran knows. And so Jude's not really mad about Locke necessarily. She doesn't really care about him all that much, but she is just like thinking in her head, like, would my sister really do this to me? Like my own twin? So yeah, I am very into the story. The end of book 1 was absolutely insane. I feel like I probably have a third left, 250, and there's 370 pages. I obviously cannot read at work and I need to get headed out right now. But when I get home, hopefully I can read a little bit more, and then tomorrow is New Year's Eve. We're gonna go to a party. Probably not stay till midnight though, because we are so old at my ripe age of 26. I'll probably leave the New Year's Eve party at about 10:30 and then I get Wednesday off this week. But anyway, talk to you later. Maybe after I've finished this, Fingers crossed, but I'm gonna try to read the rest of this today. I'm setting some lofty goals here. I think it's bright enough over here. Hello. It is the next day. It's New Year's Eve. And I finished The Cruel Prince last night. Finally, the last 120 pages, that book 2 was so entertaining. Oh my god. Okay, so last I left off, the coronation happened and all those people died. And then book 2 starts, right during that. Jude is hiding under a table, and then she kind of bumps into Cardan and he helps her get out of there safely. Well, they kind of help each other. And then once they get far into the castle, away from all the danger, she pulls a knife on him and makes him go to the Court of Shadows lair, and then she ties him to a chair and literally just abducts him, because he's the most important person in all of Fairy now, because Baelkin needs him to crown him king. So Jude kidnaps him and just wants some time to figure out her plan, and she goes back to Maddox's estate. That's where she finds out that Locke proposed to Taran. Her and Taran fight, literally have a sword fight, not over Locke, but just because Jude feels so betrayed by her sister. And then she also puts together the puzzle pieces. It takes a while, but she figures out that Oak, her younger, it's not even her half sibling, she's not technically related to him at all, but her younger brother Oak is the king's son, and Maddox and Oriana raised him to be their own, but he's not blood related to either of them. So Jude figures out that now Oak could technically become the king, and that was Maddox's plan all along, and that's why he was involved in the coup with Baelkin, because he wants to double-cross Baelkin, put Oak on the throne, and then since Oak is a fucking toddler, Maddox could make himself regent, and that's how he could become king. And Jude doesn't want Baelkin to be king, doesn't really want Cardan to be king because she thinks he would be a shitty king. Cardan, for being the cruel prince, is actually kind of just a regular dude. Obviously he's a fairy prince, but he has no want of being the king. He hates the political side of being a prince. He's always just getting drunk, he wants to party, and he really doesn't want to be king. And when all of this is happening and he's kidnapped, he tells Jude, all I want out of this is Hollow Hall. That's where he lives. He's I just want Hollow Hall and I want to be left alone. And Jude's okay, well, I'll think about it. And then, all's to say, at the very end, she betrays Cardan because she makes him be her servant. How Fairy can compel humans. She has power over Cardan, and he let her do it for a year and a day. That was their deal. He was I will do your bidding. I'll do as you say for a year and a day. And when the whole coronation is happening, the plan is going to plan. She double times Maddox and poisons him, not enough to kill him, but just to keep him out of the fight. And then she double crosses Baelkin. He's not dead either, but she stabbed him, or I think Ghost stabbed him in the hand, and he was pinned to the wall. So Maddox and Baelkin were out of it. And then the plan was that they were going to crown Oak, and Oak would be king. Vivi would take Oak back to the human world for 7 to 10 years, enough time for him to be raised and be raised in the human land so he can maybe have morals and not be a murderous fairy, and then when he's old enough to come back and rule. And that was the plan. But then when they get up on the stage, Jude glamours Cardan and is get down on one knee, kinky, but she tells him to get down on one knee and to not move or speak for 1 minute. And then she puts the crown in Oak's hands, and they practiced it earlier in the day, but he says the whole speech, he puts the crown on Cardan's head. He's I crown you king of High Fairy. And Cardan is just frozen still, looking at Jude in a helpless rage. So she double-crossed Cardan. Love to see it. And then Vivi does take Oak back to the human world to get away from all the craziness, because now that Cardan is king, Jude still has power over him for a year. So technically Jude is the queen for a year, because whatever Cardan does, she can control. But at the very end, Cardan was very menacing. She met him in the throne room. Oh, I just love this world. I'm excited for the duology even after this now, knowing that it's about Oak, because he's gonna be older, and I just love being in this world. It's so fun. But on the very last page, Cardan was like, a year and a day, blink and that will be over. And what will you do then? And she's like, I hope I can persuade you to remain king until Oak is ready to return. He's like, maybe I'll acquire a taste for ruling. Maybe I will never want to give it up. And she's like, I don't think so. And then he said, I don't think I will be a good king. I never wanted to be one. Certainly not a good one. I will be your puppet. You rule. You contend with Baelkin, with Roybin, with Orla of the Undersea. You be my sentinel, do the work, and I will drink wine and make my subjects laugh. I may be the useless shield you put in front of your brother, but don't expect me to start being useful. So he's going to be a shitty king. He's like, I mean, you got what you wanted, but now you got to rule the damn kingdom. So yeah, that was the end of book 1. I still gave it a 5 stars. I didn't change my rating at all. It is a very quick read. I read 120 pages in just like a couple of hours. It was so easy to just like get into it when I was into it. And I saw the first time I read it in 2 days. And same with The Wicked King. I read these both in the span of 4 days. I was just like into it. And then the first time I read these back in March 2019, the 3rd book hadn't even come out yet. So in my review for this one, I'm like, I need the 3rd book right now. So I know this one ends off on a cliffhanger too, but book 1 down, 5 stars once again. I remember absolutely loving this one. I think this was my favorite in the trilogy. So very happy to get started. Last night I did set up the annotation key and I did read the prologue, and the prologue was just a memory when Jude was a kid, like one of the lessons with Matic. He was giving like a lesson about power. You can take a thing when no one's looking, but defending it, even with all the advantage on your side, is no easy task. Power is much easier to acquire than it is to hold on to, which is a very apt thing to say going into this book, because Jude has all the power, but she lives in fairies, so who knows if she'll have it for long. I'm sure a lot of people are going to try to take it from her. Okay, it has been a couple of days. I think the last update was on Tuesday, New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve was so fun. Got drunker than I thought I was going to, but had a really good time with our friends. And then Wednesday, I was pretty lazy. I didn't change out of my pajamas all day. I thought I was gonna be productive and like put away Christmas and do a bunch of things, but I really just kind of read and watched TV, made some food. It was just a nice chill Wednesday, and I absolutely loved having a break in the middle of the week. And then yesterday on Thursday, I read a little bit more, but it is Friday afternoon. I just got home from work and I really need to update before I keep reading. I am over halfway, so up to chapter 20. A lot has happened, but let's get into it. So we start this book 5 months after the ending of The Cruel Prince. At the ending of that, the deal was made between Jude and Cardan that she would have power over him for a year and a day. So at this point in the story, Jude only has a little bit over half of a year to figure out how to hold on to her power. You know, we keep going back to that little quote in the prologue where it says, you know, power is easy to grab when nobody's looking, but it's very hard to hold on to. And the whole first half of this book, I feel like Jude is just holding on tight with both fists, like trying to hold her power. But Cardan's older brother Baelkin, he obviously still really wants the throne. Right now he is imprisoned, but we know that he has been working with the Queen of the Undersea. And then Jude's dad Matic still wants the throne. He is very mad that he was bested by Jude, but some time has passed and now he is like, okay, I was mad about that, but let's work together. Like, he still wants to put Oak on the throne so he can be regent. And right now, Jude is holding all the cards because her title in the kingdom is Sentinel. I think I'm saying that right, but basically it means she's the right hand to the king. So she will go talk to the council in Cardan's place, and she can kind of reveal what information she wants to give to Cardan and what she wants to keep to herself. She's doing a lot of sleuthing behind the scenes. You know, she's still working with the Court of Shadows, so they're helping her. But yeah, she went to the prison to visit Cardan's brother, and she ran into another prisoner who she later found out is Cardan's mom. And she's been trying to get information out of her, but Cardan's mom only wants to trade information for freedom, and Jude isn't ready to pull that trigger yet. But yeah, everybody is vying for Jude's power, and she is just like, step off, please. But when Jude went to the prison to talk to Baelkin, she kidnapped one of the guards, amazing, to just get information out of him. And when she kidnapped that guard, he confessed that Baelkin has been working with the underworld, or undersea. I read too much Greek mythology, but he's been working with like the fish people. And then Cardan's ex. We met her in the first book. I think her name is Nicasia. It's like Nicassia, something like that. In my head I read it as Nicasia, so maybe that's wrong. But we will just call her, you know, the princess of the undersea. Her and Cardan are exes. A bunch of drama happened even before the beginning of The Cruel Prince, but they used to date, and then the princess left Cardan for Locke. I know, Locke kind of gets around. And then Locke left the princess for Taran. So anyway, doesn't really matter, but they are exes. And then one day we are in the court with Cardan and Jude, and a representative from the undersea shows up and is like, I have a message for the king. And the message for the king is basically an offer of marriage of the princess so that the land and the sea may be united as one and la-di-da. But the end of the message is like, hopefully you agree to this, because if you don't, we are going to start a war. And Cardan, being the king, doesn't really like to be threatened very much, and he's like not very keen on the idea of marrying an ex who left him for his best friend and all of that. So Jude agrees with Cardan that she doesn't want him to accept the proposal with the undersea, because it's already hard enough to control one person on the throne, let alone trying to control a king and a queen. So she's happy that Cardan doesn't want to get married, but she is telling him, Nicasia is still in love with you, and you need to go seduce her and get some information. And Cardan is like, is that an order? And she's like, no, it's not an order, but if you don't get information and you don't find out when they're going to start this war that they are threatening, then we are going to be on the back foot and we need to be prepared for that. So Cardan is like, you want me to seduce her for information? And she's like, yeah, I'm sure you can figure it out, like you're kind of a slut. And Cardan is like, well, how would I go about seducing somebody? Like, maybe I should test it out on you. And they end up fucking wild. I mean, it's a young adult book, so it's fade to black, and I think they fucked, but maybe they just did something very close to it. I don't know. But, you know, all the tension that has been building for a book and a half, like, they finally just like gave in. And they talked a little bit after, and she was like, I just had to get it out of my system. And Cardan was like, well, did you get it out? And I loved the quote. She was like, I look him in the face and lie. Yes. So yeah, they did it. Crazy. Love that. But after they, you know, do the deed, Cardan does go and get information out of the princess. He said that with a couple of kind words and a few kisses, like, he got the whole plan, and we found out that they are going to start the war during Taran and Locke's wedding, which Jude was already planning on going to. Her and Taran are like kind of talking again in this story, really just because Taran wanted something from Jude, so she approached her and tried to like be friendly and be sisterly again. But obviously Jude can't really trust her, because she knew the whole time that she was with Locke that it was just like a test of her love. But yeah, all of that has happened. A war is about to go on with the undersea. Balekin and Maddox still want to overthrow the throne. Cardan is like, you know, he's under Jude's thumb right now, but she can tell that he is like trying to figure out a plan for once the year and a day is up, like what he's going to do. And Jude is just desperately trying to figure out how to stay in power, because she can't even imagine going to her life before this. There was a quote on page 92 where she's talking to Cardan, and he was like, perhaps you could be my Sentinel in earnest. And she was like, once a position as grand as Sentinel would have been beyond my wildest dreams. Now it seems a humiliation. Power is infectious. Power is greedy. Like, she's not even happy just being the power behind the throne. Like, there was a couple of times she's talking to Maddox and she's like, I just want to reveal that I'm the one making all these decisions, but she has to pretend that it's Cardan, and she doesn't want to go back, you know? She's addicted to the power. Yeah. It is just so fun to see, so much strategy. Like, it makes sense why I can't remember the books from almost 5 years ago when I read them, because so much happens. Like, I can't even keep up. Even trying to like summarize it for you is hard. Same day, just a lot later in the evening. It's a little bit after 10 o'clock right now, but I had to get on here and talk to you because
I just barely finished The Wicked King. Oh my god, I forgot how crazy the end of this book is, or the whole second half, I guess. So since I left off with you, Jude was attacked by Locke and like 6 of his friends. She was headed home. She was, you know, cutting through the woods like she's always done, and then she was attacked by a bunch of fairies on horses. Later she found out that one of them was Locke, but she gets away, but she gets an arrow in her leg, and that's like the day before the wedding. So she doesn't let anybody know, but she gets back home, sews up the wound, and then the next day is the wedding. And at the wedding, she learns from Ghost that the Undersea is attacking the prison where Belkin is. She goes to the prison with Ghost. Again, doesn't let anybody know, but she goes there. She helps Carden's mom escape, and then she goes to look for Belkin and finds that his cell is empty, and Ghost, who is a member of the Court of Shadows and, you know, she thought was a trusted ally, actually turns his back on her and reveals that he's been working with Belkin the whole time. And he's like, I work for Prince Dane, I don't work for you. So he betrayed her. And then she wakes up at the bottom of the sea. She is imprisoned there for I think like a month total that she's under the sea. But while she's there, she is tormented by the Queen of the Sea and Belkin and Nicasia, the princess. They all think that she can be glamored, obviously because she's a human, and since she's imprisoned, you know, they change her clothes and they make sure she's not wearing any berries or anything like that, and nobody knows that she can't be glamored, so they glamour her. She fakes it the whole time. She does whatever they want, but in doing that, she learns like their plan. She's like, if I just can get out of here, then I can help Carden and secure my place at his side, all of that. So she is eventually freed. Carden does a deal to free her. When she's freed, they glamour her to tell her like, as soon as the opportunity strikes, you need to kill Carden. So she gets out and she doesn't have access to the palace. She does get to talk to Carden for just a minute and, you know, tells him the whole thing. They kind of come up with a little bit of a plan, but she's supposed to be working with Belkin. So she goes to Belkin and he gives her a poison and is like, tomorrow is a masquerade ball. When we go to the ball, you need to poison Carden as soon as you can. But when she gets to the ball, Carden is already poisoned, and she has the vial of poison in her pocket that she was, you know, supposed to poison him with, but obviously was never going to. So that means that she gets accused of poisoning him, and one of the council's members who is trying to frame her is like, empty your pockets, and she reveals that she can't be glamored because she's like, no, I'm not going to empty my pockets, and she takes Carden out of that situation and helps him get the antidote. It was a whole thing how she got the antidote, but she got it, and then Prince Belkin challenges her to a duel. And so even though Carden told her straight up, like, don't kill my brother, I don't want you to kill him, he told her multiple times, keep him alive. Even though Carden knows that his brother's trying to kill him, he's like, do not kill my brother. And Jude kills his brother. But I mean, it was self-defense. He challenged her to a duel and she killed him. And while all of that was happening, while Jude was murdering Belkin and while Carden was poisoned and delirious, Maddox was making his move against the throne, and Taran posed as Jude and went to Carden and told Carden to release Maddox's vow to the throne. And she doesn't glamour him to do it, obviously, because she's not Jude, so she can't glamour him. She just asks him, and Carden does it because he wants Jude to trust him, which is so sad. But that just made me hate Taran even more. I honestly, the 3 main people in this book I hate, Locke, Taran, and Maddox. Even the Queen of the Undersea and Belkin, like, obviously they're the villains, but I hate Maddox and Taran and Locke because they're supposed to be her friends and family, and they're the worst characters in the world. But anyway, so Carden releases their vow. Maddox takes half of Carden's army and leaves, and so now they're super vulnerable for if the Undersea wants to attack. Like, they don't know what they're gonna do. They have half of their army now, and so Jude goes to Carden. They're trying to figure out a plan. And Carden, over the last month, he hasn't just been sitting around. He has been scheming schemes. He offers Jude a deal. He says, if you release me from my vow to you, you know, there's only like 4 more months that she's going to be able to glamour him. He's like, if you release me from the vow, then I will marry you. And he proposes to her. And fairy marriages are a little bit different.
You don't need like a minister or somebody to marry you. You don't need a witness. If you just give vows to each other, like they can't lie, so their vows cannot be broken. And Jude agrees. You know, she debates it for a while, but she's like, I've been thinking of a way to hold on to my power after these 4 months are up, and I haven't been able to come up with anything. But if I'm Queen of Fairy, then I will have all the power. So she agrees, which it was actually kind of a cute scene because he was like, I'm proposing in earnest. He's like, you made me the High King, Jude. Let me be the High King. Marry me, become the queen. She's like, you can't do that. And he's like, I can. Kings and queens don't often marry for something other than a political alliance. True, but consider this a version of that. And were you queen, you wouldn't need my obedience. You could issue all your own orders and I would be free. So kind of a win-win. She would be queen and have a bunch of power, and Cardan would get his free will back. And they agree to it and they get married immediately. Like they give their vows, and she hasn't told him yet that she murdered Balkan. She just like came back and figured out that Tarn betrayed her, and they've been trying to figure that out. Like she hasn't told him yet. And I loved this quote right here. It's just the writing. You know, they're giving their vows and she's like, I, Jude, take Cardan, High King of Elfame, to be my husband. Let us be wed until we don't want to be and the crown has passed from our hands. And then it says, he kisses the scar of my palm. I still have his brother's blood underneath my fingernails. Crazy. So they get married and then they go to bed. And it says they, you know, they share some kisses and they're both just blurred by exhaustion. They go to bed. And then when they wake up, they're waken up by a servant who is like, the Queen of the Undersea is here and she's demanding justice for her ambassador. So the queen knows that Balkan is dead and Balkan was her ambassador. So they go talk to the queen. Jude is feeling a little bit uneasy because Cardan is going out there and he is acting like a king now. Completely 180 from the whole entirety of this book. Like now that he has his free will, he is making moves. And she was like, I have his vow of marriage, but without anyone's knowing, it seems less and less as though it ever happened, which is super foreshadowing because this ended with Cardan asking Jude, do you deny you murdered Prince Balkan, ambassador of the Undersea and brother to the High King? And she's like, I'm not sure what Cardan wants me to say. Like, is it going to help if I deny it or if I agree to it? But she ends up saying, like, I do not deny that we had a duel and that I won it. And then Cardan says, hear my judgment. I exile Jude Duarte to the mortal world. Until and unless she is pardoned by the crown, let her not step 1 foot in Fairy or forfeit her life. She's screaming, she's freaking out. She's like, you can't do that. And he's like, of course I can. And she said, but I am the Queen of Fairy, I shout. And for a moment there is silence. Then everyone around me begins to laugh. And Cardan's just looking at her like, yeah, I double timed you. And she's like, deny it then, deny it. Tell me you deny it. And it's like, he cannot, of course, so he does not. Our eyes meet and the odd smile on his face is clearly meant for me. I remember what it was to hate him with the whole of my heart, but I've remembered too late. I love that writing. I remember what it was to hate him with the whole of my heart, but I remembered too late. And then we had an epilogue where Jude is back in the mortal world with Vivi, and she's just depressed because she has been outsmarted, and she is the Queen of Fairy. She did get married to Cardan, but there's not a whole lot of use of being the Queen of Fairy when you are banished to the mortal world. So that's why the third book is called Queen of Nothing. Jude is queen, but she can't go to her kingdom, and she, right now at least, is the Queen of Nothing. So yeah, I cannot wait to start this. It's so late tonight, so I'm not going to start it tonight, but I'm hoping that I just wake up in the morning and dive right in. Couple days later, once again, it is Sunday morning, just a little bit after 9 a.m. So it is still very early, but I didn't update it all yesterday on Saturday. We went to Chili's for dinner. Delicious. And then we saw that new Bob Dylan biopic, A Complete Unknown, with Mr. Chalamet, and I really liked it. The only complaint was it was a little bit long. The movie started at 7, but we got home at 10, but the actual movie itself and like Timmy's singing was actually so amazing. So yeah, really good movie, but the main goal of yesterday for me was to get halfway through A Queen of Nothing, and I did just that. So this is thankfully the shortest of the 3 books. It's only a little bit over 300 pages, so my goal yesterday was to just get up to page 150, and that happened to be the beginning of book 2. So a lot happened, but we started at the beginning of this book in the human world with Jude, and she is banished, but she's trying to make the best of her banishment and keep busy. But because she is presumed dead in the mortal world, like she doesn't have a social security card or a driver's license or stuff like that, and she can't get a normal job, so she finds this like underground fairy market and works as like an assassin for this guy. He pays her some money and she goes out and kills fairies, and she gets assigned to one fairy. Her name is Grimma Mogg, and she is like a retired war veteran in fairy. Think of her as like an old retired Matic, and her and Jude battle. Jude wins, which is crazy, and they don't like fight to kill each other. They make a deal that like if Jude wins, then Grimma has to stop killing humans, but if Grimma wins, then Jude has to leave her alone. So they fight, Jude wins. They kind of become a little bit of unlikely friends because Grimma very much underestimated Jude, thinking that she was just a mortal girl, and then she was bested by her. But then Jude goes back to the apartment where Oak and Vivi are, and once again Taryn shows up. Ugh, I hate Taryn. And of course she showed up because she needed a favor from Jude. Nobody is surprised, but she shows up and she tells Jude and Vivi that Locke is dead, and she's like, yeah, no, I'm positive he's dead because I'm the one who killed him, which is the first thing that Taryn's done in 3 books that I actually like her for. She killed Locke. Love that. Apparently he was just a very bad husband, not very shocking, and also Taryn's pregnant. So yeah, but because she killed her husband, everyone suspects it was her, because it was, and she has to go to like the fairy court, and because she's a human, they're just gonna glamour her and make her confess her crimes. So she goes to the human world and is like, I need you to pretend to be me and go to fairy, because if they compel you and ask you if you killed Locke, you're gonna be able to honestly answer no. And Jude agrees because she can't be glamored by any fairy, and she's not really doing it for her sister. She's still very mad at Taryn for being betrayed by her twice, but she agrees to go because she just really wants to go back to fairy, and she's been like itching to break her exile. So she goes to fairy, she goes to court. Carden is the king, so he's the one who is going to like listen to her crimes and then either pardon her or whatever. So she goes into court, the whole court scene happened, and then after Carden pulls Taryn aside, and once they're alone, he's like, why didn't you respond to any of the letters I sent you? And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, obviously I know it's you, Jude, like why haven't you come back? And she's like, dude, you exiled me. And apparently he's been sending her letters, but she never got them. And my Barnes & Noble edition has, like, at the very end, we have letters to Jude from Carden. So I actually read the letters already because I've read the series before, so I didn't feel like I could super spoil myself. And honestly, there wasn't anything spoilery. I just really liked this one letter he sent to her where he was begging her to come back. He's like, I rescind my words, come home. Come home and shout at me. Come home and fight with me. Come home and break my heart if you must. Just come home. Oh, so cute. But yeah, they're fighting, and he's like, well, why didn't you come home? And she's like, dude, you exiled me. And then while they're arguing, a bomb goes off in the palace, and Maddox's bodyguards kidnap Jude, thinking that they are rescuing Taryn from like her death. They kidnap Jude, and Jude is taken to Maddox's camp that he made with half of the army, and she has to play at being her sister while she's there. So she's talking to Maddox like she's Taryn, and Oriana like she's just pretending to be her sister, and she's getting away with it. And then her spy instincts kick in, and she's like, while I'm in Maddox's camp, I think I'm going to sleuth around and try to figure figure out like what his plan is for this war so that I can escape and go back to Carden, and then we can fight him and win. So she figures out some information and she's like, okay, I'm going to escape. And while she's going to escape, she hears a prisoner at the camp and she's like, I can't leave knowing that that could be somebody that I love. So she goes to the little like makeshift cell that they made, and she finds out that Ghost is in there. And she was super betrayed by Ghost in The Wicked King, but she's like, well, look at where you are. And he's like, yeah, I know. And she hears him out because he's like, I didn't betray you. And she's like, you did. But what happened is Ghost gave Locke his true name. And if a fairy gives somebody their true name, then that person has power over them, just like how fairies have power over humans. Like if you have somebody's true name, then you have control over what they do. And it's a whole story on why, but Ghost gave Locke his true name like 10 years before, and Locke had only ever used it for petty bullshit until Jude started getting some power, and then Locke is the one who made Ghost betray Jude. So Jude is like, oh my god, Locke is dead, like you're free. And he's like, no, before Locke died, he gave my true name to Maddox. So now Ghost is Maddox's pawn. And that's why he's, you know, in the prison in his encampment. And so Jude is like, okay, I'm not going to escape right now. I'm going to stay one more night. And tomorrow I'm going to find the key. I'm going to break you out and we are going to go back to Carden. But then the next day when she's going to get the key, Carden and Roach show up, and she's looking at Carden like, you cannot be here. Like, if Maddox finds out you're here, he's going to kill you. And Carden's like, I don't care. We are going to break you out. And she tells them their whole plan, and they agree to it. They go to get the key. And when they go to get the key, Roach is shot by like a tranquilizer full of poison. And so Carden has to take Roach away, take him back to the palace, back to the bomb, because the bomb always has the antidotes. So Carden takes Roach away, and before Carden leaves, he makes Jude promise that like she's not going to go get Ghost. It's too risky. She is just going to go to the woods, find her sisters who are waiting there for her, and go back to Fairy. And she agrees, but she's like, I totally lied about that. And then she goes to the cell to go get Ghost. And when she's there, the cell is empty and Maddox is sitting there twirling his little mustache. And he's like, yeah, you are too late. I already sent the Ghost on an assassination mission and he is on his way to go kill Carden right now. And Jude weighs her options on either fighting Maddox and trying to kill him, or tucking tail and running and going and trying to save Carden. And there was this quote that I like where she was like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna win against somebody who's taught me everything that I know. So she does what she says she would never do, and she turns around and runs away from Maddox and runs back to Fairy. When she gets there, like a ball or something is happening. She goes up into the rafters to try to find Ghost to take him out before he can take out Carden, because that's always Ghost's move. Like, he goes to the rafters with bow and arrows and tries to kill his target. But Maddox double timed her again, because she goes there and climbs into the rafters with her bow and arrow, and then Carden gets a message on a piece of paper that an assassination is about to happen. The bomb looks to the rafters to see if the Ghost is up there, sees Jude, and tries to shoot Jude with an arrow. Thankfully she misses, but Jude loses her balance and she falls from the rafters. Oh, she's also super injured because Maddox stabbed her in the stomach before she left, so she's like bleeding out and she fell from the rafters. And she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die here. Because everybody in the court who is there thinks that Jude broke her exile and came to kill the king. And so she literally gives up. At the very end of book 2, she's like, I wait for him to pronounce judgment on me. Whatever he commands will be done. His power is absolute. I don't even have the strength to fight back. And then Carden gets up and he's like, she is my wife, the rightful queen of Elfame, and most definitely not in exile. The shocked roar of the crowd rolls over me, but none of them are more shocked than I am. I try to open my eyes, try to sit up, but darkness crowds in at the edges of my vision and drags me under. End of book 1. So yeah, that is what has happened. Jude is back in Fairy, and everybody knows that she's the queen now. Her and Carden, I think, are finally going to start like actually working together and trusting each other, maybe, because I think the whole exile was like a trick, because the stipulation was that she was exiled until she was pardoned by the crown, but she's the queen, so she has a crown. So I think the entire time she was banished to the human world, she could have just said the words out loud, like, I am no longer in exile, and then she could have gone back to fairy. Like, I think she could have pardoned herself. So I think that was a big ol' miscommunication. And then Cardan tried to send letters to tell her, like, come home, your exile is done, come home, but she never got those letters. So we have the whole second book to go, 150 pages. Very happy that I got halfway through yesterday, and I am going to finish this book today. I'm not even going to say that I hope to finish it, because I'm going to make myself finish this book today. It is a Sunday. I don't have to leave my house. I started putting away Christmas yesterday, and I did all of the little like decorations and stockings and knickknacks and stuff like that. And today I just have to put away the tree. But other than that, like, I'm just going to be home, relax, and finish The Queen of Nothing. I already took the star off, but just the tree remaining. Okay, it's almost like 1 o'clock, and no, I haven't done any reading. I haven't even put away the Christmas tree, but I've just been doing a lot of editing. Anyway, this was given to me on Christmas, so I need to do it like today at the latest, because this orange is gonna go bad eventually. But it's like the little stovetop potpourri. I've seen girlies online do this, people who have their lives together. I've always wanted to try it, and this is just such a cute Christmas gift. So I felt like this would be appropriate to do today. I wish that you could smell through the screen, but this is already so delicious. I'm doing it color organized. Love to see it, but all of these are full, so I gotta pull out this one. But tree is almost naked. Round 2, and tree is empty. I just need to like clean up a little bit once everything is out of here. Okay, it is a lot less cozy. I would light this candle, but I still have that potpourri going, and it smells gorgeous. So this is what we're looking like. I'm going to do a proper update in the morning, but I just finished The Queen of Nothing, and I am so tired. I need to hop in the shower and get ready for bed, but all 3 books done. And I want to reread this too before I go into The Stolen Heir. I know that there is some stories from before The Cruel Prince and during the series and even after Queen of Nothing, all from Cardan's point of view. So definitely want to reread this before I even go into Oak's story, but wow. Good morning. It is once again a very dark Monday morning, so that window was not even a possibility, but I finally finished The Queen of Nothing last night. And I also did a whole lot of editing yesterday, and this video is a feature-length film. So I'm gonna be real quick in the ending of this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, seriously, thank you so much. But once we get into book 2, Jude wakes up and Cardan finally confesses his feelings that he is in love with her. Oh, so cute. And she's too scared to say it back right away, but then she's pulled away by a bunch of counselors to describe Maddox's encampment and everything she knows from when she was over there, like spying on his camp. And then, you know how we thought the ghost was going to be sent to Cardan to kill him, and then that never happened? Turns out Maddox actually sent him to the Queen of the Undersea, and he didn't kill her, but he stabbed her with a weapon that like Maddox can control. So basically she is almost going to die, but it's up to Maddox if he wants to save her or not. So now the Undersea is like kind of forced to side with Maddox unless they want their queen to be dead. And they find the ghost, and thankfully Taryn knows his real name as well, because she used to spy on Locke when they were married. So she knows the ghost's real name as well, and is able to tell him like, forget any other orders that you've been given. So now the ghost is back on our side. So Maddox shows up and he wants to fight for the crown, and Cardan has a whole Mean Girls moment where he breaks the crown. It's on the cover. He literally snaps it like in Mean Girls, and when he breaks it, there was a curse on the crown apparently that if you break it, you turn into a giant serpent, because he turns into a big ass snake. which is also on the cover, and he starts attacking everybody. Like, they clear out the throne room and they trap him in there, and now Jude is like, Carden's a snake, and all she can think of is that he just barely confessed that he loves her and she had no time to say anything back. Like, she wasn't ready, and now he's a snake and she can't tell him how she feels. So he is a snake for a couple of days, and she talks to her counselors to try to get some advice. She talks to the Court of Shadows. Even Matic, of course, comes to her with a deal. And they have like this thing that can bind the snake, but if they bind him, then Carden will be trapped in there forever. And part of the plan is that Jude would still be in power, but she's like, I couldn't do that to Carden. Like, he can't be trapped as a snake for all of eternity just so that I can have power. So she decides to kill the snake, and when she kills the snake, Carden emerges all healthy and beautiful. He's naked, covered in blood, but he emerges from the snake's carcass, and happily ever after, like, she tells him that she loves him too, and the book ends. It was such a cute ending. I do remember that I gave this one a 4, and I'm gonna land on my rating of a 4 for the same reason as why I did 5 years ago, because the ending felt a little bit like easy. You know, she just had to slay the snake and then everything was good again, and she pardoned Matic, but he is just banished to the human world for all of eternity and can never pick up a weapon again. So she lets him live, and I don't know, like, it is a fairy story and we're in fairyland. Nothing makes sense, but the plot point of Carden turning into a snake and all of that, like, it's just a little bit easy. I don't know, like, I don't think killing like a 12-foot serpent would be easy, but the resolution and everything at the end of this is just a tad bit easy, and it doesn't give me the same feeling as these first 2 books with like the political craziness and the high stakes. So these 2 are 5 stars always, and I don't dislike this one. I remember when this came out, people were like, this is a terrible conclusion, da 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 da. I like the way it ended. There's a happily ever after, which I love to see, but it's just not like an all-time favorite. It's just a very strong 4. Finally finished rereading this trilogy. Thank you so much for watching. I know this one was very vlog heavy as well because it was over the weeks of Christmas and New Year's, but thanks for coming along with me. I'm so excited for 2025 and everything that is to come, but all of my socials are linked down below like always, and I'll see you in the next one very, very soon. Bye!